much. Katie and Mary, thank you very much for organising and putting everything together. I'm really surprised about what a wonderful lineup we have tonight. I think it's really interesting and it's really kind of across sectors, which is one of the things that I think is maybe something we'll touch on in the conversation, is the glue between that interests me as much as the individual sectors themselves. Each person speaking tonight has got specialist knowledge, and so and of course they're just going to give a little glimpse, a little piece of what they know about. I hope between speakers they actually talk afterwards and the conversation gets going a little bit. So that's one of my main aims tonight, was actually to try and achieve a what I call cross-pollination, a bit like a bee that goes between things and finds things and discovers the city. Just something about myself to kind of like, why am I here? Why did I put this whole evening together? Well, I mean, I'm, like everybody here, kind of an accumulation of my own personal experiences in life, and I'm also kind of like part of my own genetic makeup. So I looked up the terminology, which Phil will know much better than me, about subjective well-being, and that's one of the kind of my linking factors for this evening. We would like to actively, or I am actively passionate about this city, and would invite everybody here to collaborate in that passion to make this city a great city. That's what we would like to do with an event like this. Otherwise, it's slightly meaningless. It's just talk. So we're individually involved in that, and what I'm trying to do is look at subjective well-being, and that's my kind of link between people talking here today. I myself am the son of two immigrants. My mother is from the Western Isles. She's from Lewis, and my father's from the south of Italy. So we have two extremes, or two extremists, possibly, as well, meeting, and I was born and brought up in Glasgow and formed in Glasgow under, I think, strangely kind of auspices of Macintosh, which was my dad's interest. My dad was passionately interested in Macintosh and came to the city and worked with Casina and the reproduction of Macintosh furniture. I've tried over the years to distinguish myself from my father, and I'm not associated or by part, but I enjoyed that experience and it informed me in growing up. So that's a little bit. And my mother's a psychologist, child psychologist, so they're kind of like formative for me. Of course, I'm also an architect, and being an architect, you're a bit of a polymath, I think, sometimes. Sometimes architects are not very clearly defined in terms of what they do. They might be building people, sometimes they get into graphics, they get into all different kind of like subjects. They often are dreadful writers. I don't know if you've read any architectural magazines, but they're usually very poor in the literary kind of aspect to them. So I'm one of that fold of people. I married a doctor. I married a girl from Highlands, and from Drumnadrochit, and she is a person that really informs me. And a good union is that we actually have lots of common interests, and hers are related to public health. And we share that passion because we think there's a link and a correlation between public health and cities and city design and well-being. So that's why we kind of created this kind of situation tonight. And one of the things I put in my first slide here, love, hate, and indifference, because some people have said that opposite of love is not hate, it's actually indifference. Hate, you're still passionate about it. Indifference means that you actually are not connected and are actually diametrically opposed to it. So I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about the city that I come from and born in. I'm extremely excited about doing an event like tonight. So I think we're not going to talk about indifference here tonight. I think everybody involved is actually, they've turned up because they're actually committed and interested in this city and want to see it prosper or flourish. So that's one of the other things. The other thing is that this is a photograph of Melanie, who she always accuses me of not photographing her with her head on, and my 4-year-old daughter. And we're here at a very significant point that a couple of people here will know very well, which is called the Squinty Bridge in Glasgow, where we have a cycle path, a road, we have a massive bit of infrastructure that's going on, and my daughter's really enjoying using it as a climbing frame and smiling about it, and we all enjoyed it as an experience, but we also, on a kind of adult level, kind of felt, this is not right, this is wrong, and why have we spent all this money that goes to Paisley and not actually being a Southsider all my life, living in Paul Shields? Why aren't we connecting with Paul Shields? And one of the quick questions I wanted to ask with everybody is really quickly, is how many honestly have done the U-turn in STV? Okay, so I think those kind of questions are really kind of really basics, but they're fundamental. The other point I wanted to make is that my dad, when he was growing up, got on his bike and went down the Amalfitton coast. It was really sunny, and we had what was called the State, la stagione, it's the season, the sun. And growing up in Glasgow, we don't really have an awful lot of sun, and we have alternative strategies in place from early on, which are about puddles. And I thought of the kind of, I don't know if any parents in the audience will have read to their children Muddy Puddles with Peppa Pig, and they'll understand the nature of like, splashing on puddles. So what I mean by this is we adapt to our environment. We very much adapt and enjoy the environment where we actually live, and that's a very important point in terms of well-being, because we can't transpose quite easily the kind of the grass is greener from somewhere else onto this environment. We live with Glasgow as it stands, and it's something that we've got to work with. So there we are. That's my brief introduction to this evening. Interruption.